gosh.
All right, here we
Oh,
go.
goodness sake.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we
And
go,
they're
guys.
off. They
Off
are off and running.
And we have surprises at the end. And
Surprises?
Surprises. We do. We have two surprises at least, and then whatever you guys want to throw in there.
Let us see. It says excellent
Let
connection.
us entertain you.
And
La 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 la.
what do we have?
Who's our first? Roll the dice. Roll the
Let's
dice.
Throw some hearts.
Throw some heart. Oh, here.
Here's-
Rama's our first.
Rama.
Oh gosh, I
There
don't
it
think we
is.
can
It's
see.
it's Special K.
There she is. It's our special K.
Hello,
have-
Special K.
Hi, Oneness. Hello.
Rama says hi.
And Rama says hello.
Oneness, good to see
And
you. Robbie,
Robbie,
good to see you.
hello. Wonderful D1. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my
Peace,
gosh, K-heads,
salutations.
salutations to you too. Oh, this is so fun in the beginning. I like talking to people and saying hi.
It's great, so we like to make the connections and say hi to you guys because, so often we're just making the videos and putting them out there, and it's wonderful to see you guys and see those names and those smiling emojis that we love so much.
I don't know if they can see Rama or not. Rama is just beautiful, and he's right here.
He is. He's almost there.
He's right here, you guys. Rama, say hello to Rama.
Let's see if we...
Oh, I don't know about
There he
that.
is. He's right here.
He's right here, anyhow.
That Rama.
Yeah, Noel reading. Hello, awaken now. There's Rama.
Yep. The
Yeah.
Rama. He just loves to be a part of this.
Yes, some of our most specialist people have got to visit Rama and Sita, and they just love him. Sita is still working on her Be Nice to People classes, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, happy Saturday, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
We'll wait a moment or two before we get rolling.
Let people hop in here.
And make sure, people are here and joining us.
I'm just gonna get this here on my phone so I can see.
Okay.
Oh, there we are.
There we go.
I see us. Okay.
So yeah, lots of craziness going on out in the world as usual. Here you had again another instance where President Trump mentioned the T word, the tariff word, and it led to all sorts of economic chaos and being scared. And that's where we're at this time. It's just going to be a case of any little word, and it could set off all sorts of meltdowns as far as the geopolitical and especially the economic world situation, because things just seem to be so tight and so tense in so many ways.
It is, and there's certain keywords out there that have been set up to really upset people in a big way, and then there's other words that are being taken out of our vocabulary that makes me so sad, that we really need, I think, to help bring intelligent description to a world that is kind of falling apart. But you look at that and you got to understand that there's that agenda out there to continually, along with all the toxins, all the sprays, everything else, to continually dumb us down. And we have AI, ready or not. I mean, it's in everything. If you're watching, it's in this. If we're making a video, it's in that. So it's like, how do we accept this without losing ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. And Sin Havoc's in the house. Ginger Ale Brick, great to see you. Lindsay, great to see you as well. Great to see you, Michael. All these wonderful people, these shining lights there. One that says, I love how things are going. The light is shining from within. It is. There's real change going on. So, it's huge. There's a real awakening going on. Robbie says everybody needs integrity.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're really discovering is there's no integrity in the system. There's no
really
integrity in
not.
DC or London. You know, that's where there's a lack of integrity, and it's getting to be very, very obvious. Yeah, as I've said before, thank you so much, Lindsay.
Oh, Lindsay, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. That goes to a very good place, and we appreciate every bit, you guys. Thank you.
We do. We couldn't do it without you guys' support. Yeah, discovering where there is a lack of integrity, maybe then we'll, have enough people demanding real change that we'll get real change, and we can't settle. Corey, good to see Corey in the house as well. Yeah, we can't settle, and now is the time to keep pushing the awakening, and it's so sorely needed, and we're not going to be able to go back. That's the thing. Once the genie is out of the bottle, you can't go backwards, only forward. And as Sin Havoc says, we have to help each other and work with each other, have that compassion and understanding for what each other's going through. It could be tough, and at what point in time do you revert to maybe a little tougher love, so to speak? And what time do you coddle and really help somebody along like they're a toddler, where they don't understand what the situation is, what the planet's been going through.
Yes, and there's our KK. There she is. Everybody send KK some love. She is the strongest woman I know. She's really having some struggles, and we're loving her all the way through it, every little bit of her. I wanted to play a little game with these words. I'm just going to throw 5 of them out there, just 5 words that they're taking out of our vocabulary. I thought it would be fun if, I don't know, you guys can use them in the chat. Maybe we can push back against the system. Empathy is one of them. Discernment is one of them. Virtue, fortitude, and resolve. We'll start with those. So let's take those and let's throw them back out there. Let's push back against this automated system that's just trying to take us and, form us into a thing, into a cookie cutter to keep us under control. Let's do something different.
Yeah, there's no controlling. At least there's no controlling a lot of us that have awakened, and we're never going to go back to the way things were. This is, part of the big reveal. And yet still, the chemtrails are being put in the skies as we speak. Even though there's legislation in more than half of the states across the United States to ban them, they're still happening. It's because it's at a different level. And we were talking about ancient technologies being activated. AI's been here the entire time. It's never not been here. That's part of the big reveal, but people don't understand that en masse. Although a lot of people, their intuitions are getting better and better, and they are getting connected to higher self. So they're starting to be able to feel and sense what's truth and what's not. But it's not just the dark side of the coin with the dark matrix. There are some technologies that were utilized to help the planet in the past. And when we look to pyramid technologies, that was the original purpose for the pyramids, was to help the planet heal after Tiamat was basically destroyed in this intergalactic, interdimensional war. The biggest piece of Tiamat was used to create the Earth with those beings that we would call the Galactic Federation and the super consciousness, the original programming matrix that is here and is programmed to respond to your thoughts and your intentions. So, when we have any sort of negative thoughts going through our heads, we have to be very careful and mindful of that. We need to pull ourselves out of that. We are all becoming, in time, I should rephrase that, we're all going to be master sorcerers at some point in time. And
sorceresses.
And sorceresses,
yes.
yes.
Sorceresses.
And the key word is source, because, again, when we view things in a monotheistic way, it's like, I'm here, God's somewhere out there. But the reality is the true source is inside you the entire time. This is what the Gnostics knew and taught. that you don't need any sort of political structure. You don't need any sort of organization. You don't need dogma. You just need to take the time to go within and make sure that your temple is clean as can be.
Yes, and that's really important to get that source energy through you and out into the universe. Yes, it's actually Rama and it's starring Rama and Sassy today. In case you guys don't know, they're both back there just hanging out and doing their thing. But with this energy that we're dealing with, this source energy, I was in a place and someone had mentioned what a horrible time that they were having, and they had gone through all of these traumas, and I had mentioned, a shaman could really help you with that. Somebody who understands energy, and this person, they kind of, I guess I forgot where I was, this person freaked out, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's from the devil, and that's demons, and that's absolutely horrible. And I was kind of taken back, and I thought, well, I really don't consider myself to be a devil and a demon, and I mean, not in that sense of the way. I don't think that I'm bad. And they got really upset, but what you're doing, you are taking that energy of source, to me, the one source, and you are utilizing it and making transformations outside of yourself. So sorcery, there you go.
Yeah, and that's been going through my head for the last couple of days. It's been all about sorcery. And it really is. Again, we're heading into a time of myth and legends again. When you go up in the dimensional sense of things and densities, we are going to be manifesting quicker. So we need to control our minds and control our thoughts. And again, when you're in, say, like a 5D situation, you have to hold your frequency all the time to get to that point. So you need to always be in a positive, loving mindset. And so, we're kind of in training school right now. There's a lot of work that most of us have to do to stay in a positive mindset and to not allow ourselves to drift down and start sending out negative messages to every cell in the body, because every cell is listening to you. And it's not just the cells in your body. Every single bit of this manifest universe is always listening to what are you telling it to do, because that is how it's programmed. It's programmed to respond to consciousness. So what the dark matrix has done is given us a lot of self-defeating prophecies and given us a lot of concepts that are very, very limiting. Again, like the whole concept of because you were born, that's a quote-unquote sin. That is just really an atrocious way to view things, and it is very, very it's dark and manipulated, manipulative, I should say, because it's again using a pre-programmed negative thought form, which again, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, was thought forms. But they seed the negative in us in order to seed negative consequences and outcomes from us. But the reality is they're not getting what they wanted, because again, we are very, very powerful beings, and so many people are really coming online now and understanding the bigger picture. So they're not falling for it.
Oh gosh, Oneness says, is there any advice on a spider bite on the eye? Oh my gosh. If it were me, if you have any organic castor oil, and if you're not sensitive to it, make sure there's no fragrance in it, I would put that castor oil on the eye if it were me. I'm just saying what I would do. So sorry, that silly old spider. Yeah, they can really bother you. But speaking of thought forms, the energy that comes out of a certain part of the brain, the controllers definitely utilize that. They capture it, they utilize it, things can feed on it. So it is important for us to figure out different ways, if we are angry, to process our anger, but without feeding the situation, which can be extremely tricky, especially if you have been through a lot of trauma and you have triggers and you're just triggered instantly, and all of that anger and rage just sort of encompasses your body. What do you do? Well, first acknowledge it, you realize, oh gosh, this is in my body. And then you start working on grounding yourself, and you start changing the narrative that's going through your brain, that's just constantly going through. Sometimes you can't make a big change in the narrative, but you can make baby changes. And you can at least say, the one thing you can say always is, it's getting better. It's getting better. And just hold on to that thought and hold on to that. Do your mantras, do your meditation. If you have a sound bowl, break that out. If you have a tuning fork, break that out. But whatever it is, you have to break up the energy around you once that trigger has happened. Because boy, it's tough and it's heavy and it's really difficult on our minds, bodies, and our souls when we get triggered. And who doesn't get triggered these days? If you look at the trauma that they've put out there, I mean, everybody has something. It's pretty bad, and that is by design.
Yeah, absolutely. So, most of you guys are probably empaths. You're going to basically take on that which others around you are going to be giving off. So you have to be careful with that. As Sin Havoc says, energy is everywhere. Absolutely. And Chris P says, now my eye is watering.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is how it works. And we do, as we go up through this ascension ladder, we'll find that we will be capable of helping others heal. We'll also be capable of taking on their energy in order to help them purge it. So you have to be very careful with that. So again, ground and root, have a regular practice. Bare feet on the ground is wonderful if you can do it. Every little thing about this world, when you really look at it, it's like, now from this point of view and knowing all that we know, you know that part of the reason why you have rubber on so many shoes and sneakers, etc., is because it keeps you from grounding. It's just one of those things. There's so many things that they've thought of to try to cover every aspect of us being, to keep us from being our best, strongest, most powerful self. They again don't want us doing sorcery. They want us giving our power away to them, and that's why we have all that religious dogma, as opposed to the other aspects of the movements. Like when you look back to Christianity and you see there were many different schools of thought, and the Gnostic point of view, and that gets totally smothered out and loses the battle to the central authority point of view. And it's just obvious now, and we see where belief in the central authority leads us with everything that's happened in the last 5 years. And we don't really need to go into any more details with that, because I know everybody understands that.
Right.
Patience is a virtue, absolutely. Now, some of the other technologies, like what we were talking about with the pyramids, I saw this interesting earthquake off the coast. Let's see if we bring this up and switch to scene 2. I'm not sure if it's showing or not.
I'm watching here. Let me see what we got.
Is it showing, or are we black?
No, we are.
Okay, we're not seeing it.
Oh wait, there it's turning.
Is it?
You're
display
on that
capture.
scene, display capture.
Oh, encoding overloaded. Okay, sorry guys. So let's go back to video capture scene 2. Okay. There was a earthquake. Okay, I could do it this way. Anyway, there was an earthquake off the coast of New Orleans, basically down due south of Mobile, Alabama. And what's significant about this? Well, one of the things that's significant is, we've talked about it a few times, how there was discovered that there's a pyramid off the coast over here, right in this area. So when I mentioned this area and the earthquake to Cindy, she knew right away. She was thinking, oh, wow, or she got from the guides, this is ancient technology waking up.
Mm-hmm. It was. I mean, that was absolutely instant when I felt technology. And it wasn't just any technology. It was a very strong technology. And then, previous understanding we realize, wow, there's a pyramid under there. So I do believe that there could be some type of weird awakening when it comes to the ancient technologies. Uh, it's something I feel we're definitely in a different time. Things are going so fast when it comes to our world and how it's changing and what's changing and why it's changing. So we really need to take away the idea that no, that's impossible, because nothing's impossible and there's nothing new under the sun, and when it does come to anger, I just wanted to mention this. If you are angry, if you can just have a moment of patience, just don't act on that anger. I mean, you're going to really avoid many hours and days of sorrow. So the more angry you are, the better it is, and the more time it's going to save you if you can just hold on to it and try not to put it out there, because it's acting on that anger is what can harm you.
Yeah, Xenomorph in the house, as well as Thomas Stark. Good to see you
Hey
guys.
guys.
So yeah, there's a lot happening, and yeah, there's going to be positive ancient technologies that are going to be turned on. And part of what's happened in this planet is that a lot of the technologies that were originally placed for benevolent benevolent purposes, those have been hijacked by the system and kind of reprogrammed to do the opposite. At some point in time, you're going to see, and we are seeing, there was a big outage. X was down for quite a while. There's been so many different outages. We had the outages over in Spain and Portugal, and then a few days later, there were more internet and cell phone disruptions. The technology around us is glitching all the time. And I do think it's going to just keep increasing because of our own frequencies. And so part of the realization is, how long will the systems, technologies last with humans raising up in frequency?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. There is already a lot of glitches going on, and it's rampant too. I mean, most people that we know, they're having some crazy glitches with their technology, and I do believe it's already happening. Our energy is not harmonious with the technology. So there's our true Gemma. Hi. Uh, Keeping that in mind, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but if I'm on my phone and something happens and I get this dagger of fear or pain, it's like my whole phone just stops and I have to reboot the darn thing. But I see that happening more and more and more.
Corey has been with us for a long time. He's asking for some healing energy, struggling with setbacks from brainstem injury, and it's challenging to stay positive sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll take just a moment and send Corey some positive healing energy and some frequency.
And yeah, at the end, hang out, because we're gonna be doing a ding at the end too. So mostly Corey and KK, please send them as much love as possible. It is challenging out there right now, and then if you already have problems on top of the regular challenges, I just can't imagine. So hold them in perfect health in your mind's eye, and we'll do a nice ding at the end.
Yes, absolutely. And again, when you're doing this type of work, it's always safe to visualize a crystalline white light, because it contains all the different all the different colors in it, and each color is a unique frequency. And the other thing you could do is send a vibrant green. Think like an emerald green, vibrant and shimmering. That's very, very healing, good for the physical body, and a very safe color to send, because some colors, depending on the situation that you have, can actually aggravate the situation. So, again, it's good to understand how each color is a certain frequency. We've done some videos on the past on that, and we'll do a more definitive video covering all the different frequencies. It'll be on Patreon as well. And oh yeah, Chris was talking about special emojis. Yeah, that would be cool. We did open up and now allow memberships to YouTube too. So we do have that on the channels too. We do have memberships to Evolutionary, EEARTS, and Hearts Home, with different benefits there too. So that is something that's also available. And yes, Jen and Robbie, looking forward to those, the video, the instructional ones. I always like to do one of those on a Sunday. So we will have one upcoming on Patreon. So yeah, as McGusson was saying, a buried pyramid in Oregon, west of the Sprague River, a few miles northwest of a place called Devil's Garden off Bliss Road. Yeah, there's saucers there shoot lightning at the pyramids. Yeah, that's interesting, and a lot of times, it doesn't surprise me that the place is called Devil's Garden, because they want to keep people away from certain areas that might be very, very healing, that might also be very, very revealing. There's pyramids all over the world. In fact, they're pretty much everywhere. And I got to wonder how many are under the ocean. We have seen some under the ocean. Again, Gulf of Mexico, around the Bahamas, off the coast of India. There's a whole city that was spoken of again in the Mahabharata. That is right where it's supposed to be, right off the coast of India, that was attributed to being the city of Krishna, who again we view as more of a very benevolent ET being.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot out there, and I think there's a lot. And Corey says, "Oh yeah, I'm a girl. Sorry about that. Correction made."
Oh, sorry,
noted,
Corey.
Noted. Sorry about that.
So sorry for that.
Yeah.
All these years and
all
didn't
these
know.
years didn't know, but here we are. Here we are, and we're gonna fix it. So I hope that helps. And do make sure you drink a lot of water, Corey, because people are going to be sending you a lot of love, and when you do that, you want to have a good vision of what you're looking for, and then you also want to drink a lot of water, because when you're raised up in vibration, it has the other energy that's not so good has to go down. So plenty of water, everybody. After any of these, whenever we get together, there is a change in vibration. It definitely goes up. So we all should be drinking a lot of water because of that change in vibration. It's very, very helpful.
Crimea is another place that's, Sin Havoc brings up. Yeah, absolutely. Pyramids in Crimea. And, there's just all over the place. Doc Dempsey sighting in the house, high frequency prayers for all of humanity. Love is the answer. Absolutely. And Elena's in the house too. Hope everything is good over there in Western North Carolina, Elena. And
there's Ham 37. There she is. Great
yes.
to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we had touched also, and I wanted to touch on this again. We were talking about sorcery, and we were talking about thought forms, and of course we have the Frankenstein monster, modern day myth, so to speak. And that was coming through to Cindy about Frankenstein, and I forget what you said, but it's based on the story of the Golem, which again was a being created of clay, infused with a amulet and a magical talisman, and then brought to life. The reality is, yes, we can create thought forms. They can have a life of their own. That house I was renting, a cabin in Western North Carolina, it was actually by somebody that understood this, was practicing the old religion as I didn't know this firsthand at first. Again, there was a lot of thumps and a lot of strange noises, and I even went so far as to set up cameras to try to catch something and see what is making these noises, because there'd be strange noises and nothing would ever be there, like something running on the deck, and then there's nothing there. There was definitely a Bigfoot type being. It came in 3 nights in a row. It took a stick and whack the house in the middle of the night to wake me up, just to let me know it was there. Then it would leave the stick leaning up against the house, a branch, really a pretty big sized branch. But this was something else. And then the owner ended up telling me that they had created thought forms to protect the property. And it made all the sense in the world because those thought forms were manifesting in a very, very real, audible way.
Mm-hmm. And they do. I mean, there's definitely karma attached to, different types of using source, however you're going to do it. And there is an integrity that comes with it as well. Really understanding what you're doing out in that energetic world is important, because we all have to deal with enough stuff. I don't want any undue karma. I have enough, and I'm working through everything as best as I can. And there's our karma doc.
Yay, there she is.
There she is.
Good to see you too. Yeah, use discernment, as Robbie says. It definitely can be spooky. The interesting part of it was that the being, the entity, we also have Allison from Scotland that's kind of a gifted psychic, and I had her use her technique of putting crystals into water in a silver bowl and trying to get a psychic picture of what it looked like, and it looked like a deer, which was really interesting as well. You have to be careful because you're responsible for that life, just like we're responsible for our kids to an extent, and then they make their own decisions, as many of you guys know, as parents. But our creations too, and I think there's a lot of thought forms that have been created unknowingly. That's one of the things too that want to get across, unknowingly. And this goes back to how we need to be very, very careful with our thoughts and controlling our thoughts.
Our thoughts can really hurt people, like physically, because it goes out there into the ether and it can cause damage, just like when you are holding space for someone and helping them heal. Well, when you get angry, you can send that energy out. And let's not forget when you're cooking, so important, because if you're angry and you're cooking, guess what? That anger is going to go in the food. I mean, when Mike cooks, you can really taste and feel the love that goes into his food, and it just tastes better when he cooks it because of that energy he's putting into it. But if someone's angry, just don't forget, it's going to do the same thing. That anger is going to go into your food. So, and there's Peter. Hi, Peter. How you doing?
Hello, brother Peter. Good to see you. And very real. Thoughts are very real. We have to guard our thoughts. Keep them as positive as possible, or neutral. But don't let yourself get pulled down. Spiraling, because it could definitely bring about manifestation that you don't want to have. We're in training right now to control our thoughts and to control that negative voice in the head. It's very, very important to do that. One of the things that really was a turning point for me was really the mantras, and not necessarily doing the mantras even, but I would listen. I developed the habit to listen to a lot of the different artists out there that do very, very positive music, like with mantras, and they would uplift and keep me from getting into any sort of dark mood. When you really think about it, listen to pop lyrics, and even stuff from way back in the 70s and 80s or 90s, again, and realize what those lyrics are doing to your mind. Not to become a Tipper Gore by any means, but we have to realize that, again, if there is some negative lyrics running through our mind, they're having a effect on our consciousness, and they could be drawing our frequency down. They could actually be invoking into our energy zone, our energy body, some negative entities that you really don't want hanging around.
Yeah, there is. And I think we just really have to be mindful of our surroundings. The stronger our energy gets, the more important it is to be mindful of that, because the quicker things will manifest. And if you're thinking about bad things, then guess what? You can pull that in as well. And also speaking what you want into the world, writing it and speaking it are two very powerful manifestation techniques, along with burning it. And I have my own techniques that I do in my own shamanic way in a certain order, and it's proven to me to be very, very powerful. So we program the matrix on the outside of us, and it's becoming more and more real.
Absolutely. We have a Zoe sighting. Hola, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
And Lee Thomas says, gratitude will banish darkness. Absolutely. So, when you think about it, all those different sayings and anything that has to do with expressing love and gratitude, that is just something that's going to just steamroll in a positive direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Karma Doc reminded me of that golden dome that they're talking about, and I'm still working on information on that. There's this golden dome that they're talking about putting up, and I just don't think it's a good idea for all that frequency to be over our heads. We should have control of our own frequency, but it's something I don't know that we're gonna have any say in, just like we don't have any say in the skies and what they put in the skies or what they put in our drinking water, and then we don't really have much say in a lot of practices that are done to our pets and ourselves, and that's coming up. And I had this separate vision and I wasn't sure about it, and then the golden dome was put on top of it, and I thought, that's just not good. I mean, the vision was really good, but then when you added in the golden dome, it was something that I didn't like. So I'm still working on that a lot.
Yeah, and the doctor's in the house, and Robbie was asking about the weird Space Force patches, the ones that seem to have everything to do with reptiles and things like that. Yeah, it's all, our myths and legends, again, they're all very, very real. They're rooted in reality. When you talk about that golden dome, we were talking about it a little bit with Wayne Steiger on Thursday, as we've gotten into the regular habit of going live with Wayne on his channel every Thursday at noon Central Time. Lots of fun discussions over there. And then we're going to work on being very consistent with 8 to 9 a.m. Central Time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly Friday too. Try to get really consistent so you guys could know when to reach us and see us and interact, as there's positive energy when we do these shows. We are all picking up each other's frequency, and we're all lifting each other up. It makes me think again of two of our favorite mantras. Cindy likes the Gayatri a lot, and in a way, it's gratitude, and it's reaffirming. Again, there is a creator, but you don't have to go to church to see the creator. The creator. The best way to get to the creator is just to take time to be still and go within, or get out in nature and be still and go within.
Right. To talk to Source, you don't really need to go into any other building and listen for a message. It's more like go outside and, let Source speak to you. And there's Miss Susan Donahue. Always, always so wonderful to see you in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Glass Dome on Netflix. I don't think we've seen that. Curious to see it.
Yeah.
This Golden Dome is very curious. We are going to try to get more information from the guides on that directly when we get Cindy under. I think we're having a lot of positive effect on our reality, and I think we are just circumventing all the nastiness that the dark matrix is trying to do. There's a reason why certain negative prophecies haven't come to pass yet, and it's because we're pushing back, and we're refusing to accept them, and we're still working on awakening as many people as we possibly can do, each one of us. If each one of us can reach out to a few, 2 or 4, and then they reach out to 2 or 4, before you know it, it's a massive tidal wave of awakening going on that they just will not be able to stop. So, a lot of times I'll find myself just reposting stuff on X that I might have reposted 6 times, but you never know when somebody's going to see it for the first time and just say, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, I know. Robbie says Rama's having a dream. He's dreaming of playing the holy ball. I mean, it's holy ball for Rama. It's all the time. Yes, he's dreaming about that. So, a lot going on emotionally when I'm looking at the chart and looking at everyone in the position of the moon. Very mindful. People are probably going to be trying to figure out their emotions and really trying to understand themselves a little bit more. So that might feel, when it comes to your emotions, they might feel a little bit enhanced. So that's just something that we could keep an eye on. And I like the mindfulness of the charts. For me, it's very helpful. Some people don't need them at all, but for me, I have found it to be a lifesaver.
So Susan was asking anything on the recently detected space signal from Ursa Major. Do you pick up anything on that, sweetie?
There's somebody knows something, so I'm feeling that there's information going back and forth, but I'm not able to decipher who or what. But I know it's known communication, so that's the best I have for right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they've kept us from realizing for forever, but now it's just going to be impossible to keep it from us. Very interesting times to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So Bruce is back after 5 days of fever. I hope you're feeling well there.
That's a lot.
Blessings.
That's a lot.
And healing energy. The doctor says the Golden Dome is dual use. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was picking up too. Definitely see it could be maybe re-intentioned or repurposed. I think what you have going on is a lot of beings in the light side infiltrating the darkness now, and also a lot of beings that have been part of the dark matrix going up and starting to have a connection to the higher selves, which is going to change everything. And they're not going to necessarily all be able to go along with what they were going along with before.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will realize, I can't do this anymore, and I think you'll have a lot of them that come out and start to share things that the dark matrix doesn't want out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know things are going to continually to get better, but it's not going to be easy. I've said from the very beginning, 2025, there's going to be changes, but it's going to be a little bit like a bowl in a china shop. It's just going to be messy, but we are going to have change, and that's through the rest of this administration and moving forward. So their intentions is they have a plan, they're putting it together, they're moving it forward, and they're not going to be too worried about what happens in the midterm. If a plate falls off the shelf, oh well, they're moving anyway. They're not going to stop to clean up a mess. They're not going to stop and do anything. So I think what we have to do is understand that we're in for some surprises and really hold on to the good intention that things are going to get better and we are going to find a new way of living. But we have to really put it out there. We have to make the space and fill it up with our intention.
Absolutely. And I guess there was talk about a moon map. We'll have to look into that. I think I had seen one, but it was many years back. The moon map.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check it out. I wonder if it's the same one that was attached to that German flat Earth map. Yeah, there's so much that's going to be coming out now. And I know Wayne is looking forward to doing some deep dives into a lot of these topics too. Again, if you guys haven't checked out, Mind Unveiled, John Levy, Jared Boosters, Lucius Aurelius. And these are great channels that really focus on uncovering our hidden history, and nothing really fits when you look at the history books. They're constantly revised, as I know so many people are starting to realize. Oh yeah, that's the one that supposedly shows the reflection of the bigger Earth on the moon with the extra land. Yeah, I do remember seeing that, and that does kind of match the German flat Earth map. And it's interesting too, because the guides did say that our section of the Earth that we know is kind of concave. Earth is not perfectly round yet, because I think the destruction of Tiamat is not as far off as we really think. Whenever they're telling you something was like 2 billion years old, that's Tiamat. And it even is probably the case in my mind with things that are millions of years old. It all depends on the cycle of the yugas and how long the cycles of the yugas actually last. And now the tricky part is that the cycles of the yugas, they last for a different length of time depending on the yuga, and also that really is all about how our consciousness sees them when we're in the yuga. So it's way more complicated than I think any of us can really understand in the body. I think we will probably get it if we were out of the body, but in the body we might not be able to get it. Typically, in the traditional sense, it's thought that the Kali Yuga is by far the shortest. Then the Bronze Age, which is on either side. There's the descending bronze and the ascending bronze. Then you have your descending silver, your ascending silver, and then you have the Golden Age at the top, which lasts the longest, thankfully. But it also could be because our consciousness has changed so much in those other yugas that everything, the very ether is changed. Our whole reality changes.
Mm-hmm. Everything changes. So the way we perceive things now, it's going to be different later down the road. So it's really hard to put the scientific data together. Plus the science we've been given, who trusts it? Really, everything is always changing. Anything that they come out to tell us, how has that ever really stayed the same? So I think we are definitely in a place where we need to go within and find the energy that way. Oh, KK, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, KK.
And thank you for being you too, girl.
Yes, KK has always been such a strong supporter. We do appreciate you guys. That was actually just rain coming down all of a sudden made cedar bark.
She's a woofer.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, healing energy to KK, who's overcoming a major obstacle that is, I believe, now removed.
Well, we are praying and we're rooting for her. So
yeah,
she's doing a great job.
And the guides gave us this a while ago. This is now the time of miracles. Now that we're out of the Kali Yuga, miracles will be an everyday thing. And the reality is, I think they absolutely could have been, even in the Kali Yuga, way more than most people would realize.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so things are changing and it's an exciting time, and sorcery is not a bad thing, and it's not dark, and it's not demonic, and you're not broken. That's important to keep in mind. You are not broken. You're not a sinner. You are perfect the way you are. We're all on this journey, and say we've all had some traumas, but you know what? Every single one of those traumas has purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiamat, the Galactic Alliance, Galactic Federation, Akashic Records. You know, it's the things that are real are the things that were made fun of because they wanted to keep you away from them, or the things they tried to make you terrified of. Like, you know, again, communicating with the dead, communicating with nature spirits. And all this has led to us, you know, being literally kept in the dark by the system. But that darkness it's cracking and falling apart, and it's in its last years.
Thank you so much, Miss Susan Donahue. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I gotta say, Susan Donahue has been around for so long, and every time I see her name in the chat, I know things are gonna go well. So thank you so much, Susan, for everything.
Absolutely. You know, so many people are where they feel they're supposed to be to hold the light no matter what happens. You know, again, they keep telegraphing like big earthquake events and natural disasters. You know, these things will pass, but if we are again connected to the earth, connected to the elementals, we're going to know. And also, you could keep yourself in a protective bubble. Literally, you know, visualize yourself in an energetic bubble. When we have big tornadoes and storms nearby, what do? We visualize the house and the property encircled in pure white light, and we ask the elementals and the devas for their help.
Oh my gosh, Karma Doc, you guys, thank you so much. Believe me, it's very much appreciated, needed, appreciated. The energy is going to come back to you tenfold. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And you know, again, before we go, Cindy's going to do a ding, and she's got the tinctures out too for a clearing.
So we ready? Let's do a clearing real quick. Let's remember to hold our intentions for people who really need it, and for ourselves too, and give ourselves love and compassion, and put a visual out for yourself and what you want to see the future look like for yourself and for your children, for your grandchildren, and hold that vision. And we're going to do 3 dings, 3 really good dings, and we're going to get you guys grounded, and you might feel some fun chills or tinglies or this or that. We got Mike's energy behind this, so it's going to be a good one. Here we go. I'm just going to go a few more, because I feel this energy is not pushing through all the way. So I'm going to do it again until I get a real good, clear tune. So maybe a couple more times. There we go. That last one made it through, Karma Doc. No sound, but tingles. Yeah, your body knows what's going on. Exactly what's going on. Thanks, you guys, for everything so much. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. And we'll try to get ourselves to get going maybe tomorrow again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
And we'll shoot for about noon tomorrow. And, you know, please do feel free to let us know what you guys want to hear more of. We're open to your suggestions. We are here for you guys. Much love as always. We give you guys so much gratitude. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.